Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another issue of the weekly wrap up on the Yakking Show. And this is the week ending the 26th of July, 2024. Wow, the year is galloping by, isn't it? It's crazy.
Mhm.
The corn outside is tasseling already, and some of the corn's got cobs on it. Can you believe? But
Wow.
first, let's introduce Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. How are you today?
Well, I'm still sounding a little bit hoarse, Peter, but I'm otherwise doing very well. Thank you.
That's right. You sound like, what was that actress you mentioned the other day?
Someone said, "Oh, you sound so much like Suzanne Plachette."
Oh dear. Well, you look a lot younger than her anyway, so that's all good. So you've got some important health news for us today, haven't you?
Well, Peter, I wanted to talk to you today about something quite interesting, and it's about the disease that took Napoleon's life, which is stomach cancer. Did you
Hmm.
know that? Did you know
No, I
that?
didn't.
Because
I
there was
didn't
some
know that. I
controversy
didn't.
about how he had passed away, but apparently it was ultimately determined to be stomach cancer. Did you know that it ranks as the fifth most common cancer worldwide, following lung, breast, colorectal, and prostate cancers?
Really, eh? Wow.
Yep. And several factors that significantly
Hang
increase.
on. Can I just
Sure.
confirm something there? Is it the fifth most common cancer or the fifth most deadly? Does it
They say it's the fifth most common cancer.
common? Okay. Okay.
Yes. That's right.
Ah.
Yeah. And the several factors that significantly increase the risk of stomach cancer. One is your family history.
Hmm.
Relatives of stomach cancer patients are 1.5 to 3 times more likely to develop stomach cancer compared to those without a family history. And of course, the second one is diet.
Hmm.
Consuming preserved foods increases the risk of stomach cancer. On the other hand, a higher intake of fruits and vegetables, along with a lower consumption of grilled meats, may be associated with a reduced risk. For instance, consuming an additional 100 grams of citrus fruits daily can lower the risk by 24%. And
Ah.
drinking 3 or more alcoholic beverages daily has also been linked to a higher risk of developing stomach cancer. And the third risk, or the third risk is infections such as the Helicobacter pylori infection can also, which, can cause stomach ulcers
Mhm.
but it can also lead to stomach cancer. So there are a lot of symptoms that you have with stomach cancer. It can be mistaken for other things such as gastritis or indigestion or even ulcers. But some of the early symptoms include indigestion and a bloating feeling after you've eaten, stomach discomfort, which may present as a dull burning or sharp pain, even loss of appetite and unexplained weight loss, nausea and vomiting, and fatigue and weakness as well. Now, 6 tips for helping to prevent stomach cancer. The first, of course, is to adjust your dietary habits. So, again, limit your consumption of highly processed, smoked, and fried foods. Moderation of salt. Fat intake is also important. Uh, Number two, of course, quit smoking and drinking alcohol. Consuming over 42 grams of alcohol per day increases the risk of stomach cancer by 42%.
Wow,
Yes.
42%. Jeez. So
And
I'm safe. I'm safe. I three drinks a year, I'm probably okay, huh?
I think you're probably safe, Peter. Yep.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
And ensure food hygiene. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Helicobacter pylori infection is a common cause of stomach ulcers, but it's also known to be a risk factor for stomach cancer. It typically occurs from eating contaminated food or drinking contaminated water and sharing meals with an infected person. So just be mindful of that. And of course, they recommend undergoing regular health checkups, reducing your digestive stress, so irregular eating habits or overeating, which we often do in our culture, right? And of course, exercise regularly.
Hmm.
So that's what they say about that.
Wow. Did they mention just stress, general levels of stress? Is there a,
Well,
because
Peter,
that's linked to other cancers, isn't it? Stress
oh,
seems to aggravate
stress,
other cancers.
absolutely, Peter. Stress is a culprit, and we sort of downplay it in our culture. When somebody
Mm,
says stress, they sort of roll their eyes like, oh yeah, stress. But we certainly downplay the importance of stress in your overall health and
mm, mm,
what it can do to your physical well-being.
mm.
Unbelievable what can happen if you don't curb your stress levels.
And something else. So you mentioned the pylori bacteria. What about E. coli and what's the other one? C. difficile. Those are two that cause stomach complications. Is there any indication they can aggravate or cause stomach cancer
Well, it did say infections in general, but they
in
did
general?
mention mostly the Helicobacter pylori one.
Hmm. Hmm.
But so it's not mentioned, but they say infections in general.
In
So
general, so that could include those two as well.
might,
Wow.
might, yes.
Wow, that is interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what killed Napoleon, eh?
That's what killed Napoleon. That's right. And so
And of
Peter,
course,
yeah.
in those days, they didn't have the analytical and detection technology nor the treatments that we have today. So he probably died a slow and lingering death, right? It was on not Helena. It wasn't. Where was he exiled to? St. Helena.
Oh, I don't remember,
I
Peter.
think so. Anyway,
Well,
okay.
learn a lot of
Well,
history about Napoleon. I should, but I don't.
don't worry. So anyway, that's it. So it pays to live a healthy life and try not to get stomach cancer. And
Right.
then
And then I just wanted to give a quick plug, Peter, about a Dr. Morse product, the wonderful kidney tea,
kidney
which
tea. Yep.
I've been enjoying this morning in my daily dose. It's a wonderful detox tea that supports kidney function to clean and strengthen tissues throughout the urinary tract. And of course, Dr. Morse emphasizes the importance of good kidney filtration along with lymphatic drainage
Hmm.
to your overall health. And so I highly suggest this wonderful tea. It's actually very mild tasting. It's lovely. It doesn't taste medicinal at all. You will enjoy it. And it's really an herbal diuretic. And your body doesn't become dependent on this at all, but it's nice. So my
Good.
little plug for Dr. Morse herbal tea.
Well done. Jolly good. And the links to that will be in the description and in our newsletter.
Right.
So thanks, Kathleen. I picked up a very quick health one that I was looking at this week, and that says there could be a link between a lack of, and I can't remember the exact enzymes. I think they're called enzymes, but something, the group name is omega-3, right?
Right.
So if you're lacking in certain parts of the omega-3 spectrum, if you like,
Mhm.
it could lead to onset of dementia. And they found some link between ADHD in children and
Mhm.
shortage of omega-3. So, and of course, omega-3 generally comes from fatty fish oils, fish oil supplements, and chia seeds. The vegetable variety comes from chia seeds. So a good one to help
Well,
prevent onset of dementia. Make sure you get enough omega-3.
and they were saying also, I've read that even taking a tablespoon of coconut oil
Okay.
is good for brain health,
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
because it's,
And
yes,
it tastes a bit better than cod liver oil, let's face it.
tell me about it. Oh my gosh, when I was, were you forced to have
Yeah,
that as a
yeah.
kid?
If we got sick as kids, cod liver oil, and
Oh,
that
no,
didn't
no,
have.
this was a regular for me. It
I know.
was, before going to school, my mother would make me take these, and they were huge capsules of these cod liver oil. And of course, I couldn't swallow them, so I had to burst them. And oh my gosh, it would make me
Ah,
gag.
yeah.
It was the worst thing ever. I'll never forget it.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't remember capsules. I think I'm so old they hadn't invented capsules then, but it was a teaspoon of cod liver oil. And then they came up with a malt and cod liver oil, which was a thick, almost like a paste that you could chew. And
Oh,
I know that wasn't so bad. The malt sort of disguised the taste of the cod liver oil. luckily, my brother and I were only dosed with it if we were sick, which wasn't too often. So anyway, just oh wow, things we had to endure as children from our generations. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
let's get on to what happened on the Yakking Show this week. So this week's guest episode was on Tuesday, and it was episode 319, and our guest was Andrea Science, who's a mystic, and she's quite interesting. And she's also been in the jungle on the ayahuasca, if I pronounce that correctly,
Ayahuasca.
thing that ayahuasca. Sorry, I never get it right. That you were on, Kathleen, and we won't get into argument about mind-altering drugs, but as you keep pointing out, they're not
Not a
drugs.
drug.
No, okay, but that's a good episode. If you you're interested in that sort of thing, certainly watch or listen to that episode. Then who's coming up next week? Next week is Nancy Becker. She is she's on a crusade to help women in particular who are suffering from invisible illnesses. That's mainly autoimmune diseases, but could also be other things, and it includes people with disabilities. And interestingly, she says that I think it's 60 or 70% of patients suffering from autoimmune diseases are women, and that's why she's focusing on helping women. And she has certain disabilities herself, but that doesn't slow her down. She organizes events, she's written a book, and
Mhm.
she's a real powerhouse. So that's next week. The
Mhm.
following week is Andy Kozlowski, who's currently in Thailand. I think he travels around the world, and he's an amazing guy. He's done some challenges like climbing a mountain in a pair of shorts in the middle of winter and a 10-day fast or something. And but he talks about inspiration and overcoming challenges. He's also a good one. And then the week after that will be Kelly Sparta, who's also helps you overcome more emotional and mental problems. And I found her quite an inspiration as well. So that's who's coming up in the near future. Kelly, of course, calls herself a transformational shaman. She concentrates on personal growth. That's who's coming up. Have you got any comments on any of those guests coming along, Kathleen?
They're all super guests, Peter.
They
They're
are.
just each one of them. We always pick up something from each every one of these guests, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
And then of course, as a teaser, this week we interviewed DJ Kadagian for his return visit, and his episode will be published in September. And we were talking about near-death experiences, and I know you were really interested in what he had to say.
Oh my gosh, you guys need to hear his interview when it gets published in September. We did a deeper dive into the near-death experience, and he has interviewed thousands of people that recounted their experience.
Mm.
And there's so many common elements
Yeah.
to this experience. It's mind-blowing. Really, oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good one. That's coming up, as I say, in September. And
Mhm.
then let's talk about our featured author of the week. Our
Mhm.
featured author this week is Dr. Fane Frey, who was in episode 308 a few weeks ago. She's a dermatologist and a skincare expert, and her book is called The Skincare Hoax: How You're Being Tricked into Buying Lotions, Potions, and Wrinkle Cream. And on the episode when she was on, she was saying that some of the most expensive lotions, potions, and wrinkle creams are no better than the cheaper over-the-counter ones with house brands. So that's a really interesting interview, and her book is really interesting. I haven't read the whole book; I read excerpts of it, but it's really good, and it's got lots of advice about skincare. I was always thinking skincare was only for women, and the real men never indulge in that. But she convinced me that I should actually be using something on my sun-damaged skin, and maybe if I'd taken better care of my skin over the years, I wouldn't have the skin problems I've got. So that's our book that's coming up. From me, we've got this lineup of really good guests coming along. So to make sure you don't miss out on guests, hop onto our website, theyakkingshow.com, and sign up for our newsletter. We only send you one email a week, just tell you who's on this week, who's coming next week, and a featured author who is always one of our previous guests. Oh, and what I've got to tell you is we started producing shorts for all our guests. So every day on social media, there's a new short goes out, and we use an app called Spiker Studio, which makes it very easy to do. And some of those are proving really popular. So if you got a minute, hop onto our YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the description and look at some of the shorts. And I think that's it from me. So back to you, Kathleen.
And that's it from me as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.